Fox News alert now on some new reporting from Israel over its increasingly tense showdown with Iran. It now appears that some Israeli government officials have already mapped out their plans for a possible armed conflict with Iran. Israel's civil defense minister saying in an interview that he sees a month-long conflict on several fronts with several enemies, including not just Iran, but Hezbollah in Lebanon and Palestinian militants in Gaza. He also warns hundreds of missiles could hit Israeli cities daily in the event of Israel choosing to attack Iran's nuclear facilities, potentially killing, they estimate, about 500 Israelis. So what do the Israeli citizens think of this? My next guest is Israel parliamentary candidate Ari Abramowitz. He's founder of thelandofisrael.com. That's an English-speaking TV show broadcast from Israel. Ari, welcome back to the program. Yesterday we talked about how they were handing out gas masks to Israelis. Now we get actual estimates that, they say some 500 Israelis are likely to die. The experts we've spoken to in the U.S. Side believe that's a low number. How are the Israeli citizens reacting to all of this?
Shalom, Megan. Listen, we're the most peace-loving people on the planet. We love peace. Our word for hello and goodbye is peace. We don't want a war, but what's the alternative? The alternative is waiting for Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And how many millions of Jews in Israel or anyone around the world, how many millions will die? We have to step up to the plate and do what we need to do. We have a historical perspective here in Israel as Jews. 2,400 years ago, we faced a nearly identical situation where there was a Persian leader, which is modern-day Iran, who sought to wipe us out. And just like all the enemies throughout history, he's gone. He has disappeared, and we're still here stronger than ever. We know that God is protecting us, and it's that confidence that gives us the ability to act with such a high level of moral clarity, even in such adverse circumstances.
When you look at the polling being done inside of Israel on how the folks there feel about whether Israel should bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, the folks seem opposed to it. The majority of Israelis polled said they do not want to see Israel preemptively bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. How do you explain that?
Well, listen, we're afraid, like any other nation, we don't want to go to war. We don't want to battle. However, the government is saying more and more that if we need to, then we need to strike Iran, and that's a real possibility, even if it just delays things for a few years. That few years in the current landscape of the Middle East with the Arab Spring can change the entire game. I think many Israelis are getting the feeling that the U.S. administration is trying to dissuade us from attacking Iran, not because they think that sanctions may work, but because they're afraid that our attack of Iran would jeopardize the campaign of the administration in this upcoming elections. And clearly, we're facing issues of our own survival. It's our survival we're talking about. We're not going to take U.S. elections or oil prices into account. As a matter of fact, America should not be dissuading us to attack Iran. They should be saying, Israel, listen, you have the best intelligence. Do what you have to do, and we have your back 100%. It's that America that I know, the America with courage and moral clarity that made the U.S. the country that it is today.
Interestingly, those same polls out of Israel show that Israelis do believe that if it was a joint effort, if it were a joint effort between the United States and Israel, then Israel would be likely to prevail in any sort of armed conflict against Iran. They're less confident if the Israelis have to go it alone. Our president has said he believes no president has had Israel's back more than he has. You don't perceive it that way?
I personally don't perceive it that way. I think the majority of the country does not perceive it that way. And his actions throughout his term, I think, testify to that. Listen, nothing short of an all-out international embargo will stop Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. And it just doesn't look like that's in the cards. And so if that does not happen, for Israel to be able to strike Iran with America's support, full, unwavering support, I think would be enough to really topple the regime, and we could have peace in the Middle East. But listen, America has to come with a lot stronger a stance that they're supporting us than is coming out of the U.S. right now.
Ari, thank you so much for being here with your insights on it. All the best to you, sir.
Thank you. Shalom.